Johnson didn't cry at his wife's funeral, not when they lowered the coffin into the ground, not when people came forward one by one to hug him, not even when the preacher said, "She is in a better place now." He just stood there, still, silent, like his body was present, but something inside him wasn't. Around him people were breaking, tears, sobs, whispered prayers. But Johnson wasn't, because something inside him wasn't processing grief the way it should have. It wasn't sadness, it wasn't anger, it was confusion. A strange, uncomfortable confusion, like something about the moment didn't match reality. And 3 nights later, he stopped mourning and started counting. Johnson was 62 years old, not weak, not fragile, just worn out. The kind of worn out that comes from repetition, not age. Same house, same silence, same routine. For more than 35 years. His life wasn't exciting, it wasn't dramatic. It was predictable, and that's how he liked it, because unpredictability meant chaos. And Johnson avoided chaos. Every morning he woke up at the same time, same alarm sound, same movement, same coffee. No variation, no deviation, just structure. He worked the same job for decades, never late, never early, never noticed, and he was fine with that, because attention was unnecessary noise, but none of that mattered, because the center of his life was not his job. It was Elena. Elena wasn't like him. She was warm, expressive, alive in ways he wasn't. She brought energy into spaces that didn't need it, but were better because of it. She used to leave sticky notes everywhere, small ones, simple ones, on the fridge, on mirrors, on tables, even inside his jacket pocket once. "Don't forget your pills. Eat something today. I love you, even when you act like you don't need anyone." And she would always smile after saying things like that, like life wasn't meant to be taken too seriously. Johnson never understood that. To him, life was structure. To her, it was feeling. "Elena, you think too much." Johnson, "I don't think enough." Elena, "No, you just think in circles." And she would laugh, that light laugh that made everything feel lighter than it actually was. But after she died, that laughter disappeared, and so did the meaning of the house. Everything still existed, the walls, the furniture, the routine, but something essential was gone. And then he found it. A sticky note on the coffee machine, faded, almost invisible, but still there. "You'd be lost without me." He stared at it for a long time, longer than necessary, long enough for something to shift inside him, because for the first time he didn't disagree with it. It started small, not suspicion, not doubt, just repetition. He picked up her medication bottles, read them, put them back, then picked them up again. Something felt off, not obvious, not loud, just wrong. So he checked again, slower this time, then again, and that's when he noticed the pattern. Every time Elena got worse, the dosage had been increased. Every time she was hospitalized, something changed. Every time she came back, she was weaker. At first he told himself it was coincidence. Doctors know better. Hospitals follow procedure. There's no reason to question systems built on expertise. But once the mind sees a pattern, it cannot unsee it. And Johnson kept seeing it. He didn't tell anyone, not family, not friends, not police, because once you speak suspicion, it becomes real, and reality demands action. So he stayed quiet and started watching. Hospital records, prescription logs, pharmacy reports, every piece of data he could access. He didn't behave like a husband anymore. He behaved like an observer, like someone trying to understand a system from the inside, and one name kept appearing. Dr. Marcus, his wife's doctor, his friend. The man who had sat at their dinner table, the man who had laughed with Elena, the man who had said everything was under control. But now, none of that felt stable anymore. Johnson remembered those moments differently now. The wine, the laughter, the casual conversations. They didn't feel warm anymore. They felt staged. Then came the file. Insurance, a policy taken quietly, before everything changed, before Elena got worse. Large amount, carefully structured, professionally hidden, and the beneficiary was not Johnson. It was Marcus. For a moment, Johnson didn't move, didn't breathe properly, didn't think clearly. He just stared at the name, at the structure, at the implication, and something inside him went silent, not broken, not emotional. Silent. That silence changed everything, because grief doesn't always explode. Sometimes it resets. That night, Johnson didn't sleep. He just sat in the dark, thinking, connecting, rebuilding everything he thought he knew. And slowly, a second pattern appeared. Not just Elena, other names, other cases, same doctor, same adjustments, same outcomes, 3 more patients, all different, all similar endings. Marcus wasn't making mistakes, he was repeating them. And that realization changed something fundamental in Johnson. He was no longer reacting emotionally, he was calculating. Because anger is chaotic, but understanding is controlled. And control was something Johnson understood very well. He made a decision not to confront, not to expose immediately, not to break, but to build. Over the next weeks, he changed. Not visibly, not dramatically, but internally. He became exactly what Marcus expected him to be: broken, quiet, grateful. Marcus, you did everything you could. Sometimes these things just happen. Johnson, softly, yeah, sometimes they do, and Marcus believed it, because guilt always trusts silence. But behind that silence, Johnson was collecting everything: records, evidence, patterns, names. And when he finally had enough, he didn't hesitate. Marcus was called into a review. Routine, controlled, ordinary. He walked in confident, like nothing could touch him. But Johnson was already there, waiting, still, focused. Marcus, what is this? Johnson, the part where patterns stop being invisible. Marcus, you're confused. Johnson shook his head slowly. No. Pause. I was confused. That's over now. Silence filled the room. Not temporary, not uncomfortable, final. You didn't just take her from me, Johnson said quietly. You got comfortable doing it. And for the first time, Marcus had no response. Johnson didn't expose him for attention. He didn't want headlines. He didn't want recognition. He wanted consequences. So he handed everything over, carefully, completely, quietly. And the system did what it always does. It reacted. Marcus didn't disappear physically. He disappeared professionally, socially, legally, completely. His name stopped carrying meaning, his voice stopped carrying authority, his presence stopped carrying weight. And in a city like New York, that is disappearance. Johnson still wakes up early, still makes coffee, still checks every door twice at night. But now he reads everything carefully, every label, every detail, every word, because the first time he trusted someone else, and he will never make that mistake again.